Hello, my lovely friends, star and earth creatures. Okay, so this is a new reading. Currently, for me, it is winter solstice, northern hemisphere. But I also want this to be a timeless reading. It is inspired by solstice, but I think that you could come into this at any point. Especially maybe around any new moon or when you feel like you're getting a big new kind of call to action. I think this is what this reading would be good for if you don't come to it on solstice, winter solstice. So in the way that I read astrology, winter solstice, if you were to map it onto the hero's journey, is that call to action. And it's sort of like a new journey being evoked, metaphorically or literally, but I just kind of wanted to take a look at over the next year, so from whenever you have this reading, over the next year, what, a couple things. What is the, we're filled with many different archetypes, but what is the archetype that this call to action, that this year's journey is really kind of honing in on as important? And what is the journey about? And also, what are kind of the things that are going to happen along the way? So I've picked most of the cards ahead of time because I just wanted to, some of them are oracle, there are some tarot, but it's like a specific Celtic Into the Forest tarot, which has very different symbolism and meaning than typical tarot cards. So I just wanted to study each pile a little bit in order to really feel like I had a grasp on what this journey was about and what's going to go on. But I do have some more typical tarot cards that I am going to use to get a little bit more information once we've kind of gone through the ones that I've picked. So we will do some things that are spontaneous that add into it, but I have kind of some notes and studied thoughts about these journeys. So that being said, I want you guys to look at these top cards. We've got the crow. I'll kind of pick them up to show. The stag. And this is a Celtic shaman's cards. The otter. And the mother. So pause the video here if you want and kind of feel into these 4 different piles. Which one are you kind of being magnetized toward? Even if it's not the card that you think is the prettiest or like the best, just feel into, something that you keep being drawn to and use that card. If you want, usually I am pretty open about that you could pick multiple piles. I think you can do that with this as well, but that means that it will make your journey you're focusing on a little bit more complex, which you may desire or not. Okay, so pause the video, pick your card, your pile. So pile 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are going to start with pile 1. Hello, pile 1. If this is your pile, you chose the crow. And this is going to be representative of the archetype that you are being asked to call forward and work with and develop and sort of use to navigate your journey. Okay, I'm going to lay out all the cards and then we will kind of get into to the meanings. Let's make sure these are all archetype. This is the theme of the journey, and these are your guides. Okay, and then there are some specific kind of forest journey tarot cards. As I said in the intro, they kind of have very different symbolism. So if I am saying things that don't make sense to what you correlate to certain tarot cards, that's why. Is this one is aligned more with like the Wheel of the Year and a journey through the forest. So it has like some very unique things about it. Okay, so as the crow, the archetype you're needing to call forward for your journey across the next year is this ability to kind of detach and be watchful. And through that detachment, having it kind of brings you a sense of sight where you can sort of really reflect on the past, and so have some great insight about the present, hence know where you are wanting to go. So it's a lot about planning. The crow really wants you to step back and make really good plans with your life. The crow also talks about there being a big change coming. So that might be why this archetype for you is being called forward, is some big change is coming. And so you need to channel your wisdom in order to make solid plans in order to step into these changes. There's a lot of wisdom with the crow. It's sort of an elder sort of archetype symbol character, I guess. So there is this cerebral aspect, so mental aspect with the crow of like really having to step outside of emotion and use logic and mind and reason to kind of make these plans. So there's something about the new journey you're stepping into where it's asking you to detach a little, which means sort of, I'm not saying don't feel your feelings. Let your feelings come and go, and don't make plans based on your feelings. Make plans based on what you can actually observe and see empirically. So a little bit more of a practical journey you're going on, but definitely change coming. This is also mirrored. So the theme of this journey, which I think is why the crow was called up, is thinking. So it goes right back into what I was just saying about there's something about your mind that you're really going to have to pull forward right now and working on logic, working on intellect, working on structuring, planning, objectivity, creating order. So it could be that your life is a little bit messy right now, and you might be someone who is led a little bit by heart, and it's almost like a balance is needing to be struck in your life, which is requiring you to tap into mind a little bit more, your kind of masculine yang side, whatever gender you are. You might need to kind of, tap into that more yang energy of clarity and objectivity and linear structures through life. Another theme about this new journey, the eagle does symbolize that something, like I said with the crow, that there can be a symbol that changes here. The eagle can symbolize a new beginning. So I feel like this is, the change is maybe something you're wanting, possibly expecting, with it being a new beginning rather than some sort of like pivot. But being at the threshold, a new threshold into something which can be so exciting and really impulsive, this is saying slow down and make plans. get really clear. Don't just like make moves because you're excited or things are fresh and passionate. Really take your time with this new threshold and lay solid foundations and really think it through. Think through each step you take and what that will mean 7 steps down the road. So it's really calling for you to, get creative, but through mind. So just to review, your archetype that's being called forward is the crow, which is change and vision. And the theme of this journey is about a new beginning, and it is about using your mind to create some sort of order and plans. The guides that you can call upon in this journey are the spirit of the aspen tree and the green fairy. So the aspen, it's really kind of, the book around the aspen talks about it as being a bit of a comic. So what I'm seeing here, it's like very flexible. It's got a freedom to it with the wind. It sort of moves with the wind and has a light heart. But it also, with that comic energy, it's able to really, in that detachment that we're asked to have with the crow and thinking, it's able to kind of see some absurdity of things. And it wants to turn enemies into friends. So on this journey over the course of the year, this new beginning that's requiring thoughtful plans, you may need to approach people you've been somewhat off-put by or have fully kind of stepped away from. You might need to rethink some of your relationships and find sort of the absurdity around whatever circumstances has kind of created conflict or baggage or bad feelings, and recognize each other as human and as growing and developing, and seeing where you can maybe break down some walls and have a drink with someone and laugh and move past it. There's something about needing to not have ill will from people, even if you're not around them, but especially if you're around them. You need that freedom and flexibility. You need to not have any sort of negative, harsh structures in the support and the people around you right now. So you're really needing to find ways to ease different relationships and tensions and just find the fun and the silliness and the humanness of everyone around you as well as yourself. A lot of our conflicts are just, people are people. We're all flawed, and it takes big energy to be the comic, to kind of break down walls and laugh about our flaws and embrace them and say, you know what, I'm human. But there's something about this journey where there is going to be a guide that's maybe it might feel uncomfortable. They might put these situations in front of you and kind of challenge you to, kind of confront some tensions and ease them. And this guide through that, like, some of these people may actually hold some sort of keys to your new beginning. So there's some support, some otherworldly support for you through the aspen tree spirit of like really allowing the humanity of people to be what it is and to embrace it and laugh about it in yourself and others. And it will, I think, present you with the opportunities and paths you're looking for. So another guide you can call on or that may appear or present things to you on this journey is the green fairy. And this is a fairy of renewal. So something, I like that it's sort of attached to this new beginning with the eagle. There's something that mind, body, emotion, I kind of want to go back to saying what I said with the thinking card is that like maybe this journey is being called in as a balance point in terms of like you have maybe been really functioning out of emotions for a little bit. And I think this fairy's coming in to say like, let your mind take over for a minute. Like your emotions are drained and have drained you and have maybe caused some illnesses. And in stepping away from the emotional realm just for now, you know, we don't obviously want to do that permanently, but it might be more of this like balance, needing to kind of like let the mind take the front seat for a minute might be something that's bringing some balance to you, and that balance will help restore our mind, body, spirit, emotions, allowing your emotional body to just kind of take a break. I feel like maybe it's been on overdrive, and this new journey is like really helping you find a balance point, another thing to lean on. So it's really developing the mental body that might be maybe lacking. I don't know. I've just been through that. I really spent the last 2.5 years developing my mental body. It wasn't something I ever leaned into hardcore growing up in school, and just put myself through that. And I'm really, really grateful I did. So anyway, just a thought. Okay, so these 5 cards, they are technically tarot cards, but they're a little different. It's sort of these journey through the forest, a Celtic theme. Most of this sort of has Celtic themes throughout it. So I feel like the first card is sort of where we're starting from, and the last card is where we're trying to get to. So let's see. The hawk in this first card, it's really interesting the amount of like big symbolic birds, the crow, the eagle, and the first card being the hawk. There is something, yeah, it's like as you set out on this, you are really, really needing to be observant, to watch, to scan both the big picture and the little details, and take action in precise ways, not in impulsive ways. Like the hawk, he will wait. He will stalk and hunt something. He will find exactly what that target is and will wait till the right moment and dive straight at it. But he's taking in the whole landscape. So there's something about at the start of this journey where you really need to step back and find your target and come up with a strategy to stay focused. So that's your starting point. Moving into the green woman, this is the female. This is interesting. So when I was picking up on like really needing to develop the mental body, this is representative of the female solar energy, which is the more yang side of the female. So sort of like the white seed and the black part of the yin yang symbol, maybe. And it is sort of like a mother, a great mother, and she has a deep connection to land, and she will put tests in front of people that when they pass these tests or succeed in following through with the tests, she grants sort of like this inner kingship. This is sort of like the Lady of the Lake who hands Excalibur to King Arthur. She grants sovereignty to people. I don't care what your genders are. This is about going through some tests that are going to allow you, if you can follow through with them. This is why I think this hawk is at that starting point. It's like you really need to make a plan here and dedicate yourself, because these tests, I think, are going to be mentally a little bit, I think these are mental tests coming, are going to be things you really need to find a lot of dedication for and stick-to-itiveness with, to kind of pull through them. You know, studying for big exams, learning a really tough material of some course you're taking. I don't know why I'm getting a school vibe, maybe because I've like related this to like a journey I've just been on, which was school. It could be something else. That's just like an easy place for me to pull examples from. Knowing that even though you're mentally exhausted with this semester and you've got 2 more semesters or 5 more semesters, like just step by step, just follow through, do what's right in front of you. Keep your mind sharp, take rests when you need to keep it healthy and not overtax it, you know, and burn out, but, you know, keep it accepting the challenges, but finding a rhythm with it. And I think that's what the green woman is here for, is to like help you. That's what feels right, is she's like here to help you find a rhythm with these tests and challenges that are on the way. And when you get through with those, she's granting you some sort of inner knowing of your power, which is going to grant you some kind of new sense of sovereignty that you've never felt. A new sense of, you know what you're capable of, you know what you can ask for, and you won't accept less because you've been through these tests and passed. So moving past this, this to me is showing, I don't see so much in this scenario a love connection, which is oftentimes what like the two, this is really the Two of Cups, Two of Vessels. To me, this is, I like that this card, it says attraction for its kind of keyword, and I think that can be with anything. And I think for you, as you've really taken the time to drop into your mental body, develop it, and walk through some tests, by mid-year, when you've found a new sense of sovereignty about this new power added to you through your mental dimension, things are going to attract to you. It could be romantic relationships, it could be business partnerships, it could be a job, but something is correctly attracting to you that you've wanted, but you just haven't attracted. And it's because you've needed to spend some time to kind of work on this mental body and put it through some challenges and really hone it and develop it, which, you know, under pressure, we solidify things, and it's going to go through that in the first half of the year. But by halfway through this year, from whenever you're watching this, like new things are going to attract you, because it's sort of like you've cracked things about yourself open and reintegrated new things into who you are. You've become more whole. And it's really, yeah, beautiful things are going to attract to you because of this. I love where this is going. This Wheel of Fortune talks a lot about how there's the wheel of life, and there's sort of a fated thing that sometimes we can't totally control how the wheel turns. But it's always allowing us to create our own patterns as well. It may turn, it may change on us. Life may change on us, whether we want it to or not, but we have control of like how we weave as the wheel turns, what patterns we're putting into the changing of seasons, the changing of our life. So this to me is a little bit about our free will within the changes. And I think this is going back to the crow, hearkening in change, and the eagle being about a new beginning. I feel like this is where you are right now, and the change isn't going to come, the new beginning and the change isn't going to come until about midway through this year, a year from now. So from like 6 months from now, you've got to go through these tests, like mental integration and challenges first, integrating it. And then life is all of a sudden going to change because this new integration has changed your own energy, which changes what the will is putting you towards, which is a natural progression, but you still have the choice. You still have free will in terms of like what you are going to weave in that change of a season for you, that change that's being brought in, that new beginning. So actually, this is, to me, I feel like you already know what this mental energy is about. You already know that you have a lot of work ahead of you for this. And the change is halfway through the year once this integration process happens. So what you're laying foundations for right now is going to dramatically alter your life. And I think into a place where you're able to weave the way that you have always wanted to weave. The way the threads you've wanted in your life to create will suddenly be there. Whereas like you haven't maybe found the resources and the opportunities and, at those as threads, resources, opportunities, people, paths, openings, whatever, each of these threads, you haven't really had the right threads to weave the way you can. And by doing the work you're doing right now, it's going to bring a change of the will that will now bring those threads, where you will suddenly be able to weave in a way that you're capable of, but have never been given the opportunity to. So that's really exciting. Hard work, but it's going to be worth the payoff. And then I like that we're starting and ending with nights who can be really sort of like exciting and impulsive and quick. But we're starting with the arrow, which is also the sword in normal tarot, where there is it's sort of an airy energy, and it is very mental, and it's really decisive and really sharp and really quick. Whereas we're ending with the Knight of Stones, which is the Knight of Earth or Pentacles. And it's a much more grounded, this is like the slowest of the knights. He knows what he wants. He's relaxed about it because he knows he can get it, but he's still moving forward, and has a lot of like, you're developing in yourself this self-efficacy. You know the stamina you have, you know what you're capable of. And so you're not going to let anyone push you too fast. You're not going to push yourself too fast because you know the pace you need and where you're going. And you're kind of relaxed about it because you've proven to yourself that you can do it. So sort of like by the end of this journey, you have this deep understanding of your capabilities, and through that rhythmic green woman's ability to show you how to properly create your rhythms, your rhythms, when to push and when to ease up. You know how far you need to go each day, how much rest is required each day. It's like a very solid, like it's ending on this very solid, back out of mental energy into something a little bit more grounded, and easing off of that mental energy to just kind of enjoy the pleasures of life and the beauty of nature, and time and space to get to things you want to do in the time and way that you want to do them. So hard work in the mental body first half of the year, which is going to lead to new integrations and a big change, new capabilities in weaving, and a new sense of like deep self-efficacy of what you can do. Okay, so we are going to draw a few more tarot cards. These are still a little bit Celtic themed, but their interpretations are more in line with traditional tarot. So Page of Wands. These are more kind of like confirmation cards for the above to get. We'll take these. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Back of the card, if you've been looking for some sort of justice in your life, that could be an underlying thing in this whole reading, is like finding the like settling some karma, finding fair outcomes with something, feeling your own sense of balance in life, talking about turning enemies into friends. This may rebalance something in your life if you do put effort towards that. But there's something about justice that could be foundational about this journey, the underlying thing. Okay, yeah, so this is a creative idea. Okay, there's something creative at the root of this journey. Who you are, why you're needing to use your mind, why you're needing to develop the archetype that makes plans and opens to change, why the theme of this is a new beginning. A new creative idea has come through, but it's required you to develop some more mental faculties. So this journey has something to do with a creative idea. Yeah, like I love how temperance comes through, and I had talked about the green woman being someone who is going to help you not only put tests in front of you, but help you to understand your rhythms, and so that you would know how to approach tests and challenges with the right energy, without completely burning. I mean, I think there's definitely going to be some burnout, but without just like completely overdoing it, finding some kind of rhythm with these tests and challenges. And that's exactly what temperance is totally confirming here, is like you're really finding rhythms that are allowing you to tackle a lot. This integration card, this is, I think this is really connecting into these aspens where you're making it. So it might be mid-year where you're challenged, and a guide is going to come in to help you with this, making friends of enemies. There's some kind of like relational, emotional kind of bankruptcy that's happened, challenges, tensions, and you're letting them go here. When you reintegrate, when you're integrating this new kind of mental body development into yourself, you're able to, that's when you're able to see the absurdity of things and kind of laugh and just like let go of some harbored resentments and some things in your own emotional body that have created some maybe health issues and some exhaustion. So yeah, that mental body, all these tests around the mental body are really going to help you to let go of some things in your emotional body once it's integrated. And then strength, this is totally, it's like a Leo card. I think it comes back to the creativity of the Page of Wands, where you're now at this point, a little past halfway through, a little past 6 months from now, really going to have found like your restraint, yet your command, your creative center, how to stand strong in instinct, intuition, mind, creativity, heart, all of the things sort of integrated. And it's really allowing that strength you have is really allowing you to take command of the threads of your life and weave in such amazing ways when the turn of the wheel happens, when the actual change comes in that the crow is talking about. And then even more groundedness is being shown here with the King of Pentacles on top of the Knight of basically Pentacles. It's sort of like in the world, maybe you're still being seen as this like quick, witty, exciting being, but like in this very grounded, comfortable way. But inside of yourself, you've gained that inner kingship, that inner sovereignty that the Green Woman grants you. You'll really feel that by the end of the year. So 12 months from now, you're really going to feel within yourself a new sense of absolute sovereignty coming through that is very comfortable, abundant, materially secure, and prudent. So I really think there's something about having this development of your mental body that is just kind of recalibrating and totally balancing you in a new way that you've really needed to step into your own command of life. And so it's a really beautiful, exciting journey. So definitely, you know, I'm not gonna lie, a lot on your shoulders at the front end, and really, you know, developing the mental body, if it's something that's a little lacking, is not the easiest thing to do. But take it from me, I've just been through that process, and I would never take it back. I don't want to ever do it again, but it was so worth it. And I feel like this is a journey I have just ended. So I can say that with confidence that it's worth it. It's hard, but this is a beautiful journey to be on. Whatever, you know, for you guys, it may not, for some people, this may be about school, but for others, it could be other things that are igniting the mental body. So this is where I'm going to leave you, pile one, and good luck on your year's journey as the crow. Hello, pile two. If this is your pile, you picked the stag, which is going to be the archetype that this new journey, this year-long journey, is calling forth in you to either step forward or to work on developing it, or to channel. Okay, we're gonna put out all of the cards and then we'll get into this. So these two cards are sort of about the theme of the journey. And then these two cards are guides that are accompanying you, that you can call on, or that may appear with their own sort of agendas in relation to this journey that you are being called to be a part of. And then these bottom cards, they're technically tarot cards, but they're these like journey through the forest. It's sort of these Celtic journey tarot, and they have some slightly different ways of interpreting but they're kind of cool. And then at the end, we'll flip over some more traditional tarot to kind of get confirmation for these. This is sort of like the start to the end of the journey. Okay, so starting with the stag, which is the archetype within you that's being called forward. I love, since this reading is inspired by winter solstice, I love the stag showing up because it is the one of the animals that can be associated with this time, where it will kind of disappear into the night, and in the morning at sunrise will bring the sun back up in its antlers, sort of the rebirth of the new year. And this doesn't have to be winter solstice for you guys. It could be just a new journey. Anytime you feel like you're kind of being called on a new journey, this is a great reading. Any new moon could map onto this, and any winter solstice. Okay, so the stag is related to sort of like the king of the woodlands, whereas the lion might be the king of the jungle. The stag is the king of the woodlands. So he has like a strength and a power. So you're really being called forth, I think, with like some leadership and some strength for others. You're really being looked at on this journey and having to stand in some sort of integrity and inspire others. There's a sense of a death and a rebirth taking place also. And a lot of times when in more Celtic lore and mythology, when there are encounters with otherworld visitors, it usually begins with the hero or the character, whoever, either chasing or hunting a stag. So there's something about the stag that it's almost like it represents something in you that you're trying to pin down, kind of symbolized in the chase of the stag. You're trying to find this, you're seeking something about yourself. And that seeking has opened you up to an encounter with something from another world to help you with this. So the stag is a symbol. It's taking you to the inner heart of a forest, the inner territory. So it's symbolic of your inner self, going to the very heart of your inner self, and that's where it's going to impart its strength, its knowledge, its wisdom to you, which could feel that deepest heart of your inner world may feel otherworldly, or just have sort of a portal or an access point to the otherworldly. So even though the stag has this kind of like strong, structured, responsible quality, there's something really mystical about it at the same time. And it's reconnecting you with some aspect of your soul that you lost. And it's taking you to the deepest, deepest, deepest heart of yourself. And it's a really awe-inspiring thing to watch. And I think a lot of people are going to be watching you on this journey, and you're going to be inspiring them to reconnect with their own souls, their own strengths, their own willingness to go into the heart of things. Okay, so the theme of this journey is, we've got the unfathomable card and the holy mountain. So this is reaching in to the deepest part of your subconscious to pull out some sort of premonition. And so I think that's the otherworldly thing that the stag is leading you towards, is a premonition, reaching deep, deep, deep into your subconscious to pull out things that have been hidden away, but that are really special and could lead to some sort of new shape or form of your life. The holy mountain is, this talks about it being a holy place, a place of power, home of the gods. In so many mythologies, the gods live on big mountains, and it's a pilgrim, it signifies a pilgrimage being made, to find some sort of vision or perspective, in order to see sort of the bigger picture of what your life is about, how everything is interconnected, how you are connected into all, and how all is connected into you. It's like finding this vantage point to be able to see that composition taking place and where you stand in it. And it's also calling on a little bit more activity in order to overcome some self-doubt. So channeling the strength of the stag, that's the arc. I think that's why this archetype is being called forward, is for its stamina and strength, because you are being called on a pilgrimage into the depths of your subconscious to pull you out of any self-doubt and find your pinnacle position in the world, how you integrate into the all and how the all is flowing towards you as well, if that makes sense. It's kind of abstract, but I think you're seeking something in your soul that has either long been lost or never really been accessed. And it's a big pilgrimage. So the guides that you have to call on are the spirit of the yew tree, which is the oldest tree, I believe. And so it represents the elder and eternity, timelessness. And it's funny because this fairy, the oldest fairy, also represents timelessness. So there's some very ancient elder guides you have access to that have a deep amount of wisdom, a deep amount of understanding of the all, of your sense of eternity and your place in eternity. And maybe a little bit about consciousness. That's kind of something coming through too, like really understanding the quality of your consciousness and hidden terrain in your soul around that as well, that has not been tapped. So it's like this is a very mystical journey you're going on into very deep inner territory with very ancient guides. And you're really connecting into something, maybe it's like the most ancient aspect of yourself that's long been buried, that you're on a pilgrimage to tap into, to understand sort of the continuity of your own lifetimes on Earth or something like that. Something really, maybe more than what I've said, what this is about, but it feels very mystical and magical and a little strange, but in a good way, in a pushing the boundaries of consciousness way. Okay, so starting with this beginning card, the beginning of the year, we're going to hit the 6-month point about at this card, and this is like the full year cycle. So there's definitely something going into this journey. I think, there's been some sort of detachment from spirit has really depleted you. And so you're being asked to kind of come into this journey with a lot of peace and patience, and openness to spirit entering you in order to kind of heal it's sort of a healing journey. I feel like this is a deeply healing journey, and it is requiring you to go into the depths of yourself. Because I feel like something spiritual was very wounded, but it's affected all aspects of you. And yeah, you're needing to just like really be open to guidance from the other world, to follow the stag into the heart of something, and to allow other realms into your life. And it's going to bring a lot of healing. So you're coming into this journey with openness and patience and a willingness to explore the unexplored. There's like, yeah, I feel like through that, a certain wholeness and recovery. I think it's about, at the heart, some kind of acceptance and forgiveness for something. And when you find that, you're going to find the seer, whether that's you or one of your guides coming through. But the seer in this deck can see into the heart of the inner universe. And she's here to help bring the internalized to the external, to manifest what's so deep within you to a place where it can come into the outer world and manifest. That can be a really hard thing for a lot of us to do, is to take whatever is internalized and treasured and figure out how to externalize it and manifest it. And she's coming in once you've found a certain forgiveness, hence some healing. She's really going to come in to help you sit in that deep inner space you're finding. I feel like she's a character you're finding on your pilgrimage, like halfway to this place. We'll say it's a peak of something. That it's like you need a tool, or you need a clue or a hint or something about a roadblock you're up against now, and she's here to clear that up and to manifest the way forward. So in like 3 months, whether you channel a seer quality or you come into some kind of guide who can really help point a way forward, there's going to be a barrier, and this guidance is going to help you see the way around it, or to see the side path that you never intended, but that is a more direct path maybe. But it's going to require some stillness and continuation. I feel like you're already in that first, starting the journey. This is like a very inner thing. And she's requiring you to sit there even further, to really sit still once you've found this inner place, to really sit still in that inner place. But she's going to be a catalyst for finding the right path to progress. And this is going to give you a new spark of life. Ace of Bows, Ace of Wands. This is a new environment coming through and an ability to adapt to it. So all this inner work you're doing in the first 6 months of the year is leading to some sort of new spark in a new environment and an ability to be adaptable to that. We see going into the second half of the year, 8 of Stones, which is like 8 of Pentacles. It has a very this card has similar connotation to traditional tarot. There's a skill that you're mastering. This new spark, this new connection to some deep inner territory is bringing out a skill maybe that has been latent, that maybe you developed at some point in your life or another life, that you're now re-picking up and mastering it in a way that you hadn't before. But it's going to take some dedication and focus and a spark to, we don't give so much dedication to something unless it really lights us up. So something that's really lighting you up is going to push you to really hone some kind of skill that's born of something in your soul that's soulful. It's not about being seen as anything. It's for your own pleasure. It's for your own sanity, which leads into this last card, the Four of Arrows and rest. I feel like we go from entering this journey into needing some deep healing, and we exit this journey having found this inner thing that we've needed to pull out, whether it was lost from us in this lifetime or got lost many years ago, and to redevelop it, rehone it. And it brings us into this relaxed state where we can kind of rest in life a little. This thing is like this tension inside of you, some spiritual wound. There's been so much tension around it, and this journey is leading you to find the roots of that to spark something new. That spark motivating you to develop something you're already, inherently talented at, but making it a skill, and then that allowing you to kind of find some sort of rest and solace. Whatever that toil intention was, it kind of disappears by the end of the year because you've figured it out, and now you can kind of like relax and regenerate and recharge for the next round. But yeah, pulling something very ancient out of yourself. I feel like this is like a skill, a latent talent. It's not a skill yet, from a different lifetime that you're mining for, and you're gonna find it, and you're going to make it into a skill, and it's really going to be satisfying and allow you to kind of chill out. Okay. Yeah, spiritual wound for sure. Okay. These in backwards. Okay. Yeah, so devil in reverse on the healing. There's something in the material world that's really kind of taken over in a way that has not been satisfying to you. And the beginning of this journey is kind of letting go of your material wants in life and doing something just for your soul. That is sort of the key here. With the seer, the thing that either your inner guidance or this otherworldly figure or this mentor or, I don't know, guide that appears in your life is bringing you the heart of just like what your creativity is, what your heart's about, what you care for enough to be responsible for, what's at the heart of your, I like the king with the stag, king of the forest. You want to be a king of your own heart, of people, of love, of expression and creativity, and willing to kind of master something about this and hold a lot of responsibility in it. not for worldly gain, but just for your soul. There's something your soul really wants to have more command and responsibility of around the flow of life, which can be both creativity and heart. Okay, so the spark that's coming, you're really going to find a big victory here. This is where, I said people are going to be watching this, tapping into this thing that's out of soul and not out of like a material concern might actually bring you more material foundation, because it's spectacular. Whatever you pull out is spectacular, and it's seen, and people are celebrating this thing, whatever it is. And it's taking you, as you develop the skill that's coming out here, the inherent talent that you're making a skill, it's going to take you to new shores, new environment, new situations. And this rest place, you've got the 9 of Cups here, and it's just like nines can be endings, and Cups is sort of this emotional, can be community, it can be your heart, it can be creativity, but it's sort of fulfillment. So you're feeling fulfilled, and so allowing yourself to rest at the end. And so, I do think there's this great tension at the beginning. You're really seeking for something. It's exhausted you. It's pushed on you. And by the end of this journey, you will have found it, developed it, shown it, and found an ability to relax now and rest on your laurels a bit and take a beat and just enjoy this thing that you've pulled out of some sort of ancient territory within. So anyway, I'd love to hear for some of you what this might be related to, or what you're feeling, and good luck on this journey. Hello, pile 3. If this is you guys, you picked the otter journey for this upcoming year. From whenever you pick this, the whole year ahead, this is sort of about a journey you are about to embark on. Okay, so I have some oracle cards and some tarot cards pre-drawn, and then we're going to do some tarot cards picked at the end that we will shuffle. Ooh. Oh, this is over here. Okay, so I feel like you, pile 3 and pile 4, are going to have very, maybe slightly different readings than the first 2 piles. I recorded those and then sort of ran into some time issues, and I went and got a booster shot, and I got sick and was in bed, and then Christmas happened, and so it's been like days between reading pile 1 and 2 to starting this. So things may come out slightly differently than what I was doing before, because I can't fully remember how I did those readings. I mean, I can't be that different because I know kind of what the cards are supposed to symbolize, but okay. Okay, starting with, this is sort of the otter in your reading is sort of like your energy. Like, we have a lot of different archetypes within us, but this is this particular journey you're about to set off on, this year-long journey, is calling out the otter archetype, whether that's something that's already developed in you or that you're needing to develop. So it could be something you already are great at, and it's just like the archetype that can take you through this journey well, or the journey might be about developing this archetype in you. Either way. So the otter in this this reading has a lot of Celtic traditions woven in, like this tarot deck at the bottom. It's a Celtic one, and it has slightly different symbolism than a normal tarot deck. It's sort of a journey through the forest I feel like it's inspired by tarot, but it kind of has its own thing along the way too. And then like this shaman card kind of can plug into Celtic things too. But this deck with the archetype, this is definitely sort of a Celtic way of reading what the otter is and what this archetype is meant to be for you. And this is a creature that can weave itself through the realm of water, which is sort of portal to other world, passage to other world. We cross the water. The psychopomp or the ferryman will take bodies across the water to the other world, but it also represents under the water being in another world. But the otter can also live on land. So it's this creature that knows how to kind of traverse between different realms. So there's something about you that's like kind of probably going back and forth into whatever it is. I feel like it's like the world of emotions and then the world of land, earth, which is like materializing things. So it does to me feel like there's something about uncovering where certain emotional patterns are coming from, diving deep to understand them, and then bringing them out into sort of like a conscious place where you can ground them and materialize out of these things, create out of these things that are really deep rooted in you. So it's not necessarily like trying to look for trauma or like negative emotional patterns, but it's like seeking like what it is you desire, like what your emotions are trying to tell you about, like what you desire in life, what you're trying to channel and why, and then bringing it out into consciousness and onto solid ground and trying to materialize things. So I feel like that's the archetype that's being called forth. So we'll have something to do with also what the journey is about. Another thing about this otter creature in the Celtic tradition is they considered otter fur to be very lucky because there's very few vulnerabilities on the otter. I think it's somewhere in the neck that they have a vulnerability, but their hides are very tough. So it's like armor. So there's sort of like a luck around you too, which is really cool. And like a deep wisdom about the inner world that you are developing in this archetype. Really getting in touch and understanding what emotions around desire, what they mean, how to identify them, how to understand where they're coming from, that kind of thing. So the journey itself, kind of the theme of it, there's something about you that you have probably considered an imperfection, whether that's been a script that's come from yourself or a script that's been clear from your community, family, culture, whatever, that there's something different about you that makes you feel sort of apart or other. And this journey is about discovering how it really is each of our imperfections that makes us unique and valuable and sends us off on journeys that are very specific to us and very personal and very magnetic, because there's no way to recreate these things, whatever it is that's been considered imperfect. There's no way to recreate that, and there's no way to duplicate it in another. So even in yourself, you can't recreate it, and another could never copy this. And so it's actually a really special thing. All of us, wherever our kind of quirks or differentness or our cracks and holes are, can actually be a real directional in our life to develop through that in a way that nobody else has the possibility of doing. So this journey has a lot to do with going on a journey through that thing you've always considered an imperfection, and finding how only through that imperfection could you go on this journey you're about to go on, which is going to be very special and unique and distinct to you. And so it's magnetic. People are watching because there's no way to replicate this journey, what you're doing. It's very, so this is going to be different for everybody. Each person who picked this pile, the theme of the journey is about sort of reintegrating, claiming, honoring, revering our imperfections, because it's something that's going to take us on a journey that no one else will have the possibility of going on. Also a theme of the journey, and I think I kind of touched on it with the otter, and I think this is, why the theme and the otter are connected. This journey does have something to do with materializing things in your life. So I don't know if your material realm has been lacking or has left something to be desired in the last years. But this is a focus of this journey, is to understand the material world, understand what form is, what function is, and what value is, and how form and function kind of give things value and give things specialness and sacredness. And that weaves into even understanding if these might be physical imperfections, how to value anything that is in form and has function, and how to find the function of form that maybe you haven't understood correctly, how some aspect of your form or the form of life around you is supposed to support you or enhance your life. Like, you're really going to figure that out this year on this journey. But there's something, like how I said, the otter is here to kind of bring out these deep wisdoms and desires from your emotional realm and kind of materialize them. There's something with the theme of this journey that has to do with like really understanding the material realm. And not just, like it could be around creating more abundance and more material value in your life, but that is very much so tied to understanding the material realm in general, and really having a reverence for materials and bodies, and just finding the beauty, flaws and all, and everything that is material, that it has a physical form. So really interesting journey, I think. So at the end, I feel like there's something about like realigning some deep emotions around this, recalibrating how your emotional realm and your physical realm align and work together and support each other. Really fascinating. Okay, so these two cards over here are kind of the guides that are going to be with you and available to you, and may just appear on their own sometimes with synchronicities in relation to this journey. So the juniper spirit of the juniper tree is all about patience. It sees, it waits, it observes, it sees everything, and it waits for kind of like right timing. It's the art of patience, and because it's being observant and watchful and just a little bit detached, it can see the right timing for things but it's requiring a practice of patience. So there's something about being watchful and patient that you're going to get some support in around this journey. And then also the air element in the fairy realm. A lot of communications coming to you. And I feel like, these two are really going to work together. I feel like there is some contradiction here, but I can see how these two spirits are going to work in tandem to help you navigate well, because I think a lot of communications are going to be coming to you, a lot of movement, and you're going to need to be really discerning and patient and watchful to act on the right messages, because not every message that comes your way is correct for you, or opening, or path, or, so it's sort of like really finding a still deep clarity, a deep observation, and picking and choosing, really being good at listening to what lights you up and saying yes and no, and really honoring that, which may be some sort of key to this imperfection, like some deep emotional pattern in you that you've seen. These aren't real imperfections. What we've seen as an imperfection, it may just be that you're really learning how to not say yes or no based on expectation of you to certain things in your life, but really paying attention to what lights you up and saying yes and no to offers, opportunities, asks of support, seeking support you need, whatever it is, all these connections you're needing to make in your life. I feel like you've had some sort of mold given to you of that you're trying to follow, of what's expected of you, what's right, what's wrong, but it doesn't necessarily align with what is true in you around that. And so it's really about learning to pay attention, in your gut and your heart, what lights you up, paying attention to your body, your form, your personal earth as your body, and that deep emotional desire place of paying attention to a body language, what is your body saying that you need, when messages come your way, when openings, offers, opportunities come your way. Listen to your body, not your mind. I think that's what's going on here. And then the juniper is just kind of asking you to really be observant of that. And this air element guide is, I think, also just bringing you a lot of information around that concept of body language and understanding signals from body. So look out for messages to understand specifically for you. I think the right information is going to come to you that really resonates around how to listen to your body and how to use that to identify your emotions and how to honor those. And so kind of realign really beautifully in your life. Okay, so these tarot cards at the bottom are the Journey Through the Forest cards. This first one is sort of where we're starting. This is how I'm imagining it, and this is sort of midway, and this is the ending point of the journey. So these aren't read as supporting each other or as one read. It's sort of this linear read that's going on in this row. So as you're starting out, you have the Archer, and this is indicating that you're coming into a place, or you're being asked to start out on this journey with like a really, really clear focus and a real harnessing of your intellect. So this is, you're starting out with mind, you're starting out with a clear focus, and you know, she is, when I've talked about this body language, she is, you know, this is absolutely like a language of the body. The mind is used to focus and know where to aim, but it's the body that is used to actually kind of direct the will. So maybe there's something that you have like a new deep willful desire around, and intellectually you know the focus and the aim, but you need to channel your body. There's something about body that is really going to help you to get control of this aim, this focus. So I don't know if it's like you're really wanting to start a new practice. To me, this isn't just like, yeah, I'm going to start eating right and exercising. It's almost like you're really wanting to start a practice that uses the body, so like Tai Chi or yoga or archery, something where, yeah, it's like a practice and it involves the body, but your mind, you know, is having to work with it to find the focus, and then your body is sort of the tool to direct the will of it. So that's sort of the starting point here. It feels like a big aim. It feels like something that if you were to take on and really follow through with, that would bring you a new deep respect for yourself and for your capabilities physically, which in general, I think it will just bring a deeper respect overall for the material realm when you've really learned to develop a practice with your own body material. You know, I think you find a deeper respect for material realm in general through that. So that is kind of the starting point. Seven of Bows is the next card. So in like several months, I think that this new focus, this new aim is going to really show you the importance of being on specific paths and not just kind of spreading yourself thin. And I think you're going to all of a sudden realize that you have a whole bunch of clutter around you from certain paths, certain other practices in your life, just general collection of things that really haven't had a lot to do with who you are, but rather about what you expect of yourself to be, which may not be authentically who you are. But now that you're getting more authentic and in tune with your body and your path, you're seeing a lot of things from your life now feel like clutter. And so it's time, in about 3 months from this reading, you're really going to come to a point where you're going to need to do like a pretty big spring clean and really kind of streamline, prioritize, recognize that you can't do everything and that you should be focusing your attention on the things that are really lighting you up. And then once you do that, at about the 6 month point, I really think whatever this practice that you're putting into place and really focusing on, it's going to bring you into a certain kind of community, or certain people will be put in your path, and you're going to be going through kind of trials together, sort of like friendship forged in fire, I think is one of the things that is said about this card. So it's sort of like you're going through this journey with others at a certain point. Once you've kind of found your target, committed to a practice, streamlined so you can really focus, and once you're at that focus point, so it could be at the 3-month point or it could be at the 6-month point, but you're really going to find community that's sort of doing the same thing, and you're going to be doing it together, and you're really going to build a lot of trust and relationship and friendship and goodwill and support with each other because of the amount of effort and work and blood, sweat, and tears you're all putting into this kind of same practice or same path, whatever it is. And then at about 9 months, there's really going to be, you're going to feel like whatever you set out to do, you may not be quite like a complete master at it at 9 months, but you're going to be at a place where you feel like your commitment has paid off and you're on like the right path, and you've seen massive improvement, a ton of new, just like deep alignment, like right alignment with yourself and your body and the material world. And even though you may have a long ways to go, because I do feel like this year journey is about just getting you on this path, but I feel like this is a lifelong thing that you're committing to potentially. So even though there's many, many years ahead in this practice and fine-tuning and mastering, you feel like you're solidly on the path, and it's aligned and it's right, and things feel good, and you have your community, you have your focus, just things feel aligned, and you're gonna want to celebrate. I love that the 8 and the 4 of bows are right next to each other. They have some similar connotations. They're a little bit different, where this is sort of like going through it with people, and then this is sort of a release. But they're both kind of these gathering, these, communal sort of aspects. But something's going to feel really solid, aligned, solid, fortunate, that luck of the otter. I think you're going to feel like the people that have come into your life due to what you've decided to focus on and streamline to, just really maybe have your back in a way you've never felt. You feel aligned in a way you've never felt, and it's just like a beautiful, magical thing happening. Just this much deeper respect for body, material, the beauty of earth, the wonder of earth, understanding what the material realm is, and starting to feel like a reflection of your respect for the physical realm is materializing in a lot of beautiful, beautiful ways that are really stabilizing your life. So that's so cool and fun. And then I love where you're ending on this journey with the Queen of Vessels, or the Queen of Cups. And in this card, it's the salmon. And, this specific Queen of Vessels, sort of talking about how the salmon, it's in the fall time kind of finds its way back up the rivers it came from to lay eggs, and it kind of sacrifices itself to do that. But it has all this wisdom to even know how to get back to where it came from. And it's just bringing, what I want to say is the sacrifice you've put in has brought you, in the Celtic tradition, the salmon is the wisdom. It's brought you an immense amount of wisdom, and you're going to recognize all the sacrifice you've made and how connected with the otter that's been to your deep desires, your emotional signals that may feel nebulous and unexplainable, but you've really honed in and understood them and channeled them and empowered them. And you've now turned into the salmon, who is the wisdom creature, and can really look back, and not only have you kind of understood the material realm, but you've gained this wisdom of understanding how to listen to what lights you up and what sacrifice means and how precious that is. Because I do really feel like at about this 3-month mark, you are going to have to make some sacrifices and cut some things out of your life, and in this sort of spring cleaning, but you're going to see that certain sacrifices made and certain listening to what lights you up and being very focused and really grounded and connected to the material realm has just given you, I feel like you're going to come out with a whole new archetype. You're coming in as the otter, trying to kind of traverse realms to understand certain things that have eluded you, and you're coming out like really in command of your emotions, really in command of knowing what sacrifice and hard work and focus can do to stabilize emotions and to feel inspired and to be inspiring and to be someone that people look up to, because you've really done something amazing and really kind of altered your life in a beautiful way. So congratulations on that. I think it's a really beautiful journey. I think you're really going to listen to your body and your emotions in a new way, and you're really going to reclaim something about yourself as magnetic and beautiful instead of ashamed of or hidden. Yay. And these cards are just popping out. Okay, one more. I forgot what I was saying because I got distracted with shuffling, but I think I had my point out anyway. I was probably just repeating myself. Okay, so just some confirmation cards, any extra little information we're getting here. Yeah, this journey is about, I feel like that's where the target, the arrow is pointing towards this 10 of Cups, which is about just total emotional harmony and community and feeling really a part of life and others. And yeah, there's something you're really, through trying to kind of get more in touch and grounding in the material realm, it's also very, very, very tied to bringing community into your life. That's a really beautiful community. Yeah, oh my gosh, I love this. Okay, so talking about sort of clearing out the clutter, really starting to prioritize and streamline. I don't think this is going to be that hard for you. I mean, it can always be an emotional thing to kind of like let go of certain things, but this Ace of Wands showing up under this card is indicating that like a really deep singular inspiration has come through, and so you know the priority, which is going to make that spring cleaning a little bit easier, because you know the focus, you already do. But it's just gonna like really feel, it's gonna feel real in about 3 months. and that's going to continue to motivate something about you, about this journey and this sort of practice you're developing. So Wheel of Fortune, in about 6 months, I feel like it's going to feel like a turning point. This community that was talked about here initially, your community is coming through, and it's going to really feel like a beautiful turning point in your life. I feel like it's going to be sort of like your soul tribe, like you've never felt it before, and it's really going to feel like a big blessing in your life, and a new corner being turned around, feeling supported for who you are, for your uniqueness that is magnetic, not flawed. And then this, it's interesting, we got a 4 under the 4. So 4 of bows, or their celebration. We have also 4 of cups, which is rest. So I feel like this celebration point where you really feel solid in this new path and grateful and overjoyed. I do think it's also a point of, just kind of letting loose and relaxing a little bit more into it. There's a learning curve here, and I feel like that learning curve is tapering off about at the 9-month point from this reading, and you're going to need to allow yourself to not only celebrate and sort of let loose around this new energy in your life, but also to take a break, and that taking a break isn't going to ruin your trajectory or take you off the path, that it's okay if your body tells you you need a minute to just kind of to process and restore and rest, and to trust that. This whole thing, I feel like, is about trusting body signals and body language, which a lot of times is fueled through the emotional body. Okay, and then at the end you have another queen, we had 4-4, queen. Not only are you coming out of this with a deep wisdom and a better understanding of your own emotional realm, and maybe like developing a better conscientiousness in yourself around knowing how to put in hard work for things that you truly love, and to show up for yourself in a way that is distinct to what your emotions and body are telling you. And so gaining this like really beautiful, inspired, compassionate wisdom, but you've also developed double queen power here, of just this really, really strong, clear mind of what it takes to travel this kind of journey and to find your right alignment. So that, to me, the ending, this last card, it does feel like like body, mind, and emotion are aligned. Like at first it was sort of like starting out with trying to figure out how to align your emotions and your body, but your mind, all 3 of these things, and spirit, all the things align, and you're just like really clear and really crisp and really focused, and understand what you need to do going forward, understand for others what it takes to really change life in the way that you've changed your life, and you have a lot of wisdom to share around that. And I think ending with 2 queens, I do think that you have the capability of sharing what you've learned with people in a beautiful way, and helping them kind of step into their own journey similar to the one that you've been on. You have a lot to, you will end this year with a lot to share about that, and a lot of people looking to you, both to emotionally and mentally understand, how to do what you did. And yeah, so really beautiful, you guys. I love this reading for you and this journey, and good luck. Hello, pile 4. If this is your pile, you picked the year-long journey starting from when you come into this reading, symbolized by the mother. Okay, let's put the cards out and we will jump into things. So we have some oracle cards as well as some Celtic tarot cards, which are a little different from traditional tarot. It's a journey through the forest. So there are some slight differences in how they're read, but I'll do my best. I don't know them that well, but kind of took a quick peek just to make sure I got some good info on them. And this is a really, really fascinating journey to me. If I were to pick a pile, I feel like this might be the one that I'm going on, but I usually do my own reading for myself before, so that I don't put my own biases into a pile that I might think is my own. So I do have a slightly different journey, but I can relate to this one anyway. Okay, so jumping into this, the card that you chose, this is sort of the archetype that you're either going to be asked to develop on this journey, or that is already within you, well established, and is being called forward to help you through this journey. And in this Celtic shaman deck, the mother in this is representative of conception and fertility, and kind of has like a wise advisor aspect to her, but with like a deep, gentle quality. So not sort of like the tough love, but the very encouraging, nurturing, gentle, soft place of caring. And she really rules over, I love that the imagination card is the one that came up for the theme of the journey, because I feel like this energy, this conception and fertile energy, starts with imagination. It's how we ask the right questions. It's how we connect to creation in general. And even though there's aspects of imagination that may be a little bit fantastical or fictional, it's the roots of birthing anything into the world, is just having an imagination and a willingness to conceive something new, conceive of something new. So there's something in you ready to conceive. It could be a literal child, but it could just be really honoring imagination, the birth of anything, and honoring that doesn't have to, it's not like you have to have all the answers in that spot of conception. You just have to have imagination. This is about a little bit of whimsy, a little bit of thinking outside of the box, connecting to energies around you, like really paying attention to things around you for inspiration, for wisdom and knowledge about the cycles of life. Just, like really kind of diving into the romance of being alive and being able to create from a really soft, beautiful place. Another theme in this journey is you have the sorcerer. So even though there's a lot of magic and fertility around you and out of the box thinking, this to me is saying that there may be some things, whether from this lifetime, like from, I actually do want to say that it's from this lifetime, maybe from childhood, that, and you don't have to remember what this is about, but just recognize that this energy could be around you and somehow gotten you, planted there at some point for some reason, that there's this energy in your manifesting, in your imaginative sphere around your softness, that holds, and it's, like I feel like it is unconscious, that holds some aspect of separation, of like a distrust in completely merging with the universe, with others, with the tenderness of life. So it's almost like, I don't know if it's like this need to control or always have a bit of a arm's distance from things you're actually trying to manifest, which undermines it a little bit. But there's some aspect of you just to watch for, that I think part of this journey is about clearing this block of like attracting separate, feeling separate, feeling, which can hold some elements of like conflict or I don't know, like even scarcity at times. But I think this journey is about finding the trust to really dive into your imagination and your ability to create and nurture, to dissolve whatever this is that's been in you, which is so amazing and beautiful to have the opportunity to do that. I feel like most of us have aspects of this, dark separation somewhere hidden deep within our our unconscious or subconscious. But you're really digging this out, and you're really ready to be rid of whatever holds you separate from life and from your desires and your imagination. So year-long journey, really kind of dissolving this and really tapping into creation and imagination in a totally newly empowered way. I feel like you already are like really in touch with imagination and creation, but like something is always undermining it. And you're this year-long journey to really commit to this, instead of it being just like this thing you have that sometimes you use but never has really been totally fruitful for you. It's like you're committing to this, and you know that there's a thing that you need to dissolve that kind of prevents you from like having given this priority in your life. Now is the time. This is the year that this is going to happen, and you're going to release some kind of dark, hidden, subconscious thing that kind of undermines it sometimes. Okay, so these two cards are sort of like spirit guides available to you, and that will be around, maybe sending subtle synchronistic types of messages, but that you could call on if you'd like to. Trillium, this fairy card, is a lot about self-love. It's about appreciating things that are gentle and delicate, and how to nurture that energy in you. I think I had said something, about this energy coming when you were when you were a child, And this card is really going to help you work on your inner child. So whether you end up revisiting something from your childhood that kind of got into your subconscious negatively, or you just, you don't have to remember what it is, but like minimally, this fairy is really going to help you to get in touch with your inner child and really reawaken these soft, gentle, beautiful things about life and in you, and really plug you into nature where those like imagination truly wakes up. And a lot of just like self-care, just the act of doing really beautiful, gentle things for yourself alone, consistently making that a practice is going to further and further dissolve this energy. Really, I know that self-care gets so much attention, but it really is like a beautiful signal to ourselves that we don't realize how deeply that penetrates in terms of like, our ability to honor, conception and imagination in us. And then the beech tree spirit is also around. And this is the spirit connected to memory. And, so it may really be, I wasn't thinking about this, talking about you don't need to remember what the childhood thing is. And I still don't think you need to remember like some specific dark or hard or strange childhood thing that planted something dark, in your subconscious. But this card is about memory. And so memories may come back. They may not even be traumatic. A lot of times little things happen and we, as kids, interpret them in our own strange understandings of the world at that point. And, they get, you have to unpack things as an adult, because as kids, we're just doing the best we can to understand life. And some things just get a little bit warped in our interpretations. And so this memory, the beech tree spirit, is coming, and it's really going to help us, whether it's finding a specific memory or just kind of like remembering childhood in general, and who you were as a child. As children, you have to learn as a child to develop your moral center. Like, kids aren't super moral. They really aren't. They're kind of dicks. They're beautiful, and there is certain innocence around them, but they start out at a certain level of development which they have to learn, which unfortunately a lot of people don't get the guidance they need to kind of like elevate their moral center. But we kind of start out as narcissists, to be honest, when we're kids. And we kind of have to learn how to respect others. We have to learn how to understand what's right and wrong and why, and all sorts of things where we gather weird shame, we gather weird we hide things as kids, we gather shame, we deal with weird, difficult emotions that we aren't totally knowing how to cope with. And I do think that a lot of times as kids we kind of internalize some of these things. But if you can like revisit your childhood, understanding that like you were just a kid with certain things, whether something happened to you or you did something that you're ashamed of, that you were just developing. You were still in a low understanding of how certain things in life work. So I feel like this is about like, whether it's a specific thing or just generally some tones around childhood of like erasing some guilt and some shame and some difficult things that just kind of got internalized that have created some separation in you in terms of like being able to conceive and imagine really soft, gentle, flowy, amazing, expansive things. So memory spirit is here. It's also the spirit of kind of developing some reliability and responsibility, and of writing. So it might be that like you go and sort of write little stories about your childhood and see where there might have been certain things that you just didn't understand. You know, that it's okay to let go of certain feelings around certain things because either you didn't understand why something was happening, or you didn't have, you know, the moral development yet to know not to do something, and it's okay now. You can look back at it and like release any shame and guilt and like, it's fine. Like I cheated on a test in elementary school. Maybe you hold a lot of shame you don't even really remember, or, you know, like whatever it is. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, like I learned from that. So let go. Like it didn't make you a bad person. You were still you were still developing. Like we still develop a lot of our brain up until the age of 26. So, you know, I think it is really beneficial to review some of childhood and some of the weird emotions that we hide, shames and guilts and angers and stuff that, you know, we're at this point, you know, as an adult, we're better capable of reviewing that and letting some of it go. So anyway, that was a long diatribe. Sorry. But I do think, I don't know, I just think these guides feel very important. Like on one side, just this really deep, loving gentleness with yourself. On this other side, like diving into memory and releasing some old things that with your new level of adultness, wherever you are, can kind of look back on and be like, I shouldn't have been ashamed of that, or that wasn't my fault, or, you know, like just dissolve. We just need to dissolve this energy. And this couldn't be the more beautiful guides to help this. And I could see how this sort of energy may really kind of interfere with creation in your life and really allowing your imagination to create for your life. So, okay, going down to the tarot cards, this is sort of a linear, I don't always love doing linear things, but this was sort of what came to me. This is sort of the starting point of the journey, midpoint of the journey, and where you end this year-long journey. So, from whenever you start this reading, this is where you're going to start, and we've got the 8 of Arrows with struggles. And where I see, we'll get to this, where I see this journey going, this immediately looks like, ugh, do I really have to be on this? Why did I pick this journey? Like, I'm starting off in just the most unimaginable struggle we can. You see this figure just like lost in the night, being shot out by arrows, just like when, you know, the elements, it looks all, you know, it just looks so miserable, and the struggle feels very real there. So you may be saying like, why did I pick this pile? But where I see in the trajectory of this path going, this is so amazing and fitting and beautiful, and I love it for this, because some of the greatest, our greatness is birthed under a lot of pressure and stress, and I think that you are developing something immensely great in you as this thing dissolves and your imagination and ability to conceive of things is really, really set free from it, and you're loving yourself, something truly, truly great is developing in you. And so you're being put to the test of it. You're under you're under siege a bit. So I don't know. I almost want to say with the speech and the writing connection and the imagination, like maybe you're starting. It doesn't have to be, like writing a book or something, but some new creative project is what's coming through to me. But that I feel like is somewhat new to you. Like this is a new path. And so there's a steep learning curve, and you are up against the steepest part of that learning curve right now. And it feels so daunting, like how I don't think I'm capable of this. Like I think I'm in over my head. I feel like that's where you're starting this journey. One step at a time is what I'm going to say. You're not on the wrong path. You're not in over your head. I mean, maybe you're, about over your head. But you have a light. You have the warm clothing you need. None of those arrows hit you in this card. It's just a learning curve, and you're doing it. And congratulations. Not everyone commits to doing something that they know is tough, but that they know deep in their soul they want to do. And so, yeah, you're at a steep learning curve right at the start of this. But spring thaw comes very quickly. Few months after this reading, you're going to move from this feeling of like trying to make your way in the snow with enemies and just a little light to nature starting to show underneath the melting snow, birds starting to mate, starting to hear the dripping of melting snow, like all those spring sensations, the smell of new grasses coming up, the sound of birds returning and mating and making nests. It's going to be a point where, there's still, in about 3 months, there's still you're still in that learning curve, but you're at that, point of turning a corner, and you're starting to find your ground and find your stability and feel a little bit more at home. So, just patience and persistence and endurance. And I do think you're doing the heavy lifting at the start of this, of really releasing this darker energy. And you're starting to lighten up here. You've kind of seen into the heart of your soul where there was some like inner child wounds that needed to be released, that were doing some weird things in your subconscious. And this just feels, even though there's still snow, it just feels so much lighter and optimistic and energetic, So I feel like in 3 months' time, I feel like this is dissolved, and you're looking forward with sort of a cleared slate and some footing underneath you. And then at about the 6-month point, somewhere between 3 and 6 months, you really hit your groove. Like you're really hitting some kind of stride, because it's boom, 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 king, 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 greatness. Like you have found, I feel like the greatness is already in you, but you've just had this dark thing in you that's constantly undermined something. And you've done the work by 3 months of really getting past that. And so by 6 months, if not before, you're really stepping into something. You're really kind of, this king of bows, it's the summer king. there's a little bit of a battle with these adder snakes for dominance. So you're kind of like positioning yourself at this point. You know that you're a leader and that you're capable and you're ready to go toe to toe with others, other great people in whatever this creative realm is. Like you're ready to like go up against the best. It's in you already. You're just needing to clear that out. So a little bit of competition though, even though you're like feeling your power at 6 months. Around the 9-month point, we get another king. This is the spring king. Kingfisher is this one. And this is just like, I think really finding your focus and some willpower. But you look at this, again, comparing the birds, you're flying now. You know, here you're kind of finding some footing and some energy, and here you're soaring. Like I feel like you found your position with the adder, king of bows. Like you've gone toe to toe, you've established your position, and now you're soaring, and you're really finding kind of your focus, your where you're directing your will, a little bit less obstructed than in the previous king card, and finding your trajectory, but you're soaring, and then at the 12-month point, the end of the year, you end as the king of vessels, the heron. And so this is sort of like the King of Cups. But the heron is really connected to psychic quality. Herons in general really represent reflection. They're guardian birds. So I feel like this journey through the kings you have for about 6 months is you're going toe to toe, a little competitive here, but you're finding your position, you're soaring, and you're finding your where to direct your will, using your mind. Mental powers here, and here it's like you've landed, you're kind of the king of the waters, the watery realm, the creative realm. And you started out this journey, I feel like you morph archetypes from the mother into the King of Cups, or the heron here. So going from this very gentle, tender, nourishing energy, helping to tease your imagination out of you, to tell you it's okay to enter this territory or domain, and that you're going to be held by these spirit guides, and you're ending this journey sovereign, fully in control of yourself, confident, and completely a master of this creative emotional realm. And I think it's already in you. It's not even something you're trying to develop. You're just releasing some things that have been blocking you. You're already this. You just need to claim it and move some things out of your way, out of your psyche, out of your subconscious, in order to step into this archetype that is already within you. It's just blocked right now. So, really cool journey. I love it. And we are going to pick sort of some confirmation tarot cards for any other little information that wants to come through at each of these junctures. Ooh, that's too many cards. Okay. Let's see. Waxing, that feels right. Oh, these flipped over. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Okay, so this starting point of the journey, you're not lost. You know what you want. It is just a steep learning curve. But you're very aware of like what you're headed towards, whatever this, I feel like it's a creative endeavor or developing yourself creatively. Doesn't have to be a specific project. Maybe you're just developing a creative quality within you. Either way, you know what you're trying to find. You may be in steep territory and like a tiny bit lost, but you're very aware of where you're trying to get to. So even though it feels like a really big struggle, it's not like you're confused about what you're trying to do. You're just trying to get to the place that in your mind's eye kind of thing. And then we have a waxing gibbous moon, which I love for the page of arrows or the Wren card. This is like the moon right before the full moon. So it is like what I was feeling about this card, I think it was like a really good confirmation. It's just like there's energy is building. You're finding your your footing. There's still a little ways to go for nature to completely be released from, the snow and the harshness of winter, but you're almost to that fullness. Like it's coming, it's really close. You can feel like it's just this build of energy and a new sense of sort of like aliveness and fullness, because I really think in the first 3 months you're releasing a lot. 6 of Pentacles on top of this 6-month point with the adder, the King of Bows, the adder card. Adder snakes, where you're kind of in a bit of competition, but you're claiming your position. And I think that there's a couple things I can see from the 6 of Pentacles. You may win a prize, a competition, something from your efforts as you kind of put yourself out there to compete. You're gaining recognition, but you're winning some material, whether it's support, like maybe someone wants to support you because they're seeing your work, or you may have submitted into a competition and you win some money. But there's some money, there's some support, there's some recognition coming at that competitive point. At that 9-month mark where you're kind of flying free and you're directing your will and finding your focus, it is also saying that this is a beautiful time. I love that there's like no other animal nature and there's this really beautiful calm water under the birds. So I do think it's a time of like stepping back a little, planning, giving yourself a little bit of a rest so you can take a view and look at things sort of with like fresh energy and fresh eyes after this competitive 6-month point. At the 9-month point, it's time to kind of, find your focus, rest, observe, make a plan. That's what I'm feeling there. And then at that 12-month point, end of the year, everything is in flow. Temperance with the King of Cups, I feel like that's such a beautiful match. All of your rhythms, there's no more, this is no longer obstructing anything. It's gone. Like this card is gone. Bye-bye. So you have this deep command of the emotional territory, of creativity. You're the king of this creative realm. And it's because you've figured out how to make everything flow perfectly, how to give, how to receive, how to take responsibility, how to care for others, how to care for yourself, how to open your creativity and let it be alive and feed yourself and others, how to release things when they're needing to be released. It's just like, yeah, you've just got a beautiful flow, a beautiful command coming through in this kind of emotional, creative territory. And your imagination is really, it's really gonna soar by the end of this next year. So, beautiful reading, guys. Congratulations. And I wish you so much luck on this year-long journey. And I'd love to hear if you have any thoughts about what it might be for you. All right.